Welcome into WFRV Plus Sports Night. I will be your host tonight, Carson Fowler. Kyle Mall's on off duty tonight. Cameron is there cutting some highlights for our show tonight. But we're going to talk Green Bay, both men's and women's basketball. Doug Gottlieb and Kayla Karius, the two head coaches of the two teams, spoke today. They had a media availability, so we'll have those press conferences for you guys in just a little bit. But for now, we're going to talk some Green Bay men's hoops, and then we'll transition to women, and then I'll play those pressures for you. I want to talk about the men first, who have been struggling since they won 5 games to begin January and were, 12-7 or 12-8 since, or 11, whatever. They were playing well. Since then, they're 1 in their last 4. And they've been giving up about 83 points per game, and it just hasn't been smooth sailing by any means. I think Doug Gottlieb's squad is good, but not great. And the issue has been on defense. Like I said, they've been giving up more than 83 points per game during this 5-game stretch. And get this, when Doug Gottlieb's squad holds opponents to 75 points or less, they are 10-2. However, when opposing offenses eclipse that number, they are 2-10. So that's pretty much been the tail of the tape for Doug Gottlieb's squad. They are 12-12. They have how many games left to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left. 7 games to go. You're 4th in the conference. You're 3.5 games behind Wright State, who you've lost to now twice. I mean, it's an uphill battle for sure. And the crazy thing is you could lose out and be close to the bottom of the Horizon League, which is kind of crazy to say. I think there's still more in the tank for this Green Bay men's team. Between Justin Allen, O'Hara, CJ O'Hara, Marcus Hall, Preston Rudinger, they really have a strong core 4, but it's just about, can they get some scoring elsewhere? Can LeBron Thomas do better? Can Caden Wilkins do better? Will we see more from Amel Bethea? He's only playing about 12 minutes per game, it says here. I mean, there's just a lot of question marks with this team, right? And unfortunately, there's a lot of guys in this team that will not be here next year, Justin Allen being one of the ones that comes to mind when I think about it. So they really got to take advantage of this slate. I mean, granted, it's not like they're playing the cream of the crop. I mean, their toughest opponent in this 7-game stretch is probably Northern Kentucky, who they have tomorrow. Maybe Milwaukee. I mean, thing about the Horizon League is every game is winnable, but every game is also losable. I'm not even sure if that's a word. And granted, 1 to 4 of the next 7 are on the road, including 3 straight on the road to end February, going besides Senior Day against Youngstown State. So really got to pick up some quality wins. I mean, the good thing is regular season doesn't matter in Group of 5. Like, it's not like they're getting an at-large bid. So just need to play your best basketball when it matters the most. Get to the Horizon League tournament, which I believe is in Indianapolis this year. I'll double check that. But just get there, give yourself a chance, give yourself at least a bye game so you don't need to play a couple games in a few days and make a run at it. They can definitely score. They've got scores. Marcus Hall said that. You'll hear from him when we play the press conference, but they've been great. But let's talk about the Green Bay women's team, who's really done anything but anything but lose. They have won 13 in a row. They are undefeated in conference. Their last loss came last year, December 20th, to Miami of Ohio, who coincidentally also hasn't lost a game since they played GB. They're 10-0 since that game. The Phoenix have won 13 games in conference. All but 1 have come by double figures. Crazy. Their closest game was against Cleveland State at home, 58-55. They still won. They are 4 games ahead of Youngstown State and Purdue Fort Wayne with how many games left to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 7 games left too. So they're up 4 games in the conference standings with 7 games to go. I think that's pretty good. I think it's fair to say they are the best team in the Horizon League. Now, granted, Robert Morris, Youngstown State, Purdue Fort Wayne, and I'm pretty sure they have to play all of them on the out. Yep. They got Robert Morris, they got Youngstown State, and they have Purdue Fort Wayne. So they're going to get challenged, like no doubt. Like they're going to have challenge on the back end, and it's not going to be easy. Kayla Karius, their head coach, said, our issue is that we can't put away teams when leading by 20. Now, I understand what she's saying. She wants her teams to push the boundary, keep trying to get better. But, Coach, I think you've already put a team away when you've scored 20 or when you're beating teams by 20. Now, granted, there is something to putting a team away in a closer game, which maybe that's what she meant. But Green Bay women, they've been playing really, really good basketball as of late. Just coming off of a 14-point win over Wright State. They will get Robert Morris on the road at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Eastern, which is just crazy. That game will be on, I want to say, Thursday. So if you want to catch that game, that'll be on ESPN+. But Green Bay women, 18-5, winners of 13 in a row, playing really good basketball. I think for now we'll take a quick break, but then on the other side we'll hear from Doug Gottlieb first and Marcus Hall, and then we'll get to break after that, and then we'll get to Kayla Karras. We'll take a step away for here just a minute. Welcome back into WFRV Plus Sports Night. We have not left you yet. We've still got 2 more blocks on this show, but we're going to play Doug Gottlieb's press conference from earlier today. He had Marcus Hall join him, so we will take that now.
How to handle the adversity heading into this week?
I'll tell you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Right. I think you have to ask Marcus, but I think our spirits are good. Look, we're a good basketball team. There's everybody in this league's sort of at the same level, and they all kind of look like this. And we got up to 2 slow starts at the Resch. We just got to do a better job as a coaching staff of prepping them and then of adjusting in game earlier, because I would say if I'm self-critical, some of the adjustments at halftime obviously have kind of freed us up. But we probably need to make some of those adjustments a little bit earlier.
Marcus, you've been here for 2023. It was really good. And late in the season, you guys kind of, pummel. And then last year, you go through adversity. Do you think this group can come out on the other side of things?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like even early in the season, we showed that we can go through adversity and come through it on the other side. Like early in the season, before the Virgin Islands, we had a couple bad losses. Some of the games we played were going to be tough for us to win no matter what, but a couple of games we thought were very winnable. We didn't play up to how we thought we should have, and obviously in the Virgin Islands we played good, and then they played good, and then when we came back we were solid. So I feel like we've shown that, and I feel like we're all confident that we can do that.
Marcus, your coach has talked a lot about wanting to gain respect from the rest of the league. How do you guys go about doing that throughout the rest of the year?
I feel like me personally is just playing more physical and not letting kind of post guys, I don't even know how to say it, but just playing more physical and asserting myself more on the defensive end early. And then as a team, just executing our game plan. I feel like we talked about it as a team, but the Cleveland State game, we were trying to run guys off the 3-point line. We didn't do that. And then this last game, our game plan was to not let them score in the paint, and we didn't do that early either. So I feel like it's not about what they think of us, it's what we think about us and how we prove it to ourselves.
How much of that is physical toughness and how much of that is mental toughness?
I feel like it's about even. I feel like for me it's more physical just because I play in the post and stuff, but then probably for more of the guards, it's more mental, knowing who you're guarding, if you're switching a lot, knowing if he's a shooter, knowing if he's a driver. But I feel like for all of us it's both, but a little bit more for different types of players.
Doug, it's clear kind of like the pace you guys want to play on offense, but these slow starts and you're bottom of the league in scoring and field goal attempts. Is that hurting you early in these games? And basically what I'm asking is, do you want to see your team shoot the ball more and play with a little bit more pace?
Well, yeah. We had 52 in the first half against Northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
And that was without a ton of transition buckets.
Yeah.
So, I don't care if we play fast or slow. It's about being efficient, taking good shots. Okay. And, I don't, look, we're just not really constructed to play at a feverish pace, and I think we can make people uncomfortable by making them play in the half court. This team especially. Northern Kentucky they got like a track team with some of these guys. So it's not that we don't want to take early open shots, especially open threes for 3-point shooters. We want to take the right shots, can't turn the basketball over, and then we got to get back in transition. There's a bit of a misconception from a lot of people about pace versus actual pace, right? And what I mean is just because you're taking fewer shots and playing deeper into clock does not mean you're not moving and cutting and spreading the ball. Where we think we get stuck is early in the game, guys are probing and looking for their own. Guys are looking for things that we saw on film instead of just moving it, and it kind of organically happens. And in the second half, the ball moves, our pace is better. So we need to have pace within each offensive set. The other part to it, which is a bit of a misconception, is our field goal attempts are low, but our free throw attempts are high. So, we play and we have to have perfect spacing to be a good basketball team, based upon how we're constructed. And the driver's got to drive, the cutter's got to cut, the shooter's got to shoot, and nobody can turn the ball over. And so I think we still want to maintain our own pace, but pace doesn't mean that we're not moving and cutting and taking open shots. It just means that we're not getting it and fiercely throwing down first shot, get the ball. We're not built like that because we can't make up. We can't steal possessions. We're not a great offensive rebounding team. We've improved some. We're not a great defensive rebounding team. We've improved some. And to this point, I haven't felt comfortable enough with playing more guys. And if you play at an 80, 90, 100 possession game, you got to play more. I got to play more guys anyway, but you got to play more guys. And again, we haven't seen the success off the bench that we want. So we got to find the right guys and the right mix, play a little bit faster. This is a very offensive-minded league. But we got to be smart about it because, it's like if we try and play in the 90s against Northern Kentucky, I don't think that works out great for us. It may organically happen where we score 90 points because they play so fast and then they're so spread out defensively, but we can't come in with that mindset that we're going to one-pass shoot. That doesn't work for us.
How has Marcus grown in your 2 years with him?
Well, I don't. Is he the same height?
I mean, as a
About
I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. I'm being a smartass. In a bunch of different ways. I think even in this year. So let me just go in total, and then I'll go with this year because they're two different things. Look, I don't know what it's like to be him, where you sign with one coach, you play for another coach, then he leaves, and you play for another coach. That had to be super weird, right? Like, who's the head coach? What? Like, I don't even know what we're doing. And my style and Sonny's style are very, very different. Sonny was very precise with, you're going to do this, do that, and do this, nothing else. Right? That works for him. That's how he does it. Where I was really impressed early on with his kind of natural basketball IQ, and I like guys to play free and be able to make reads, and especially somebody like Marcus, I do think he can make the reads. Sometimes he likes to cheat. He wants to know the answers to everything that's going to happen, and I just don't think basketball works that way. It's not always if this, then that, So I think that sometimes gets him in trouble, more on defense where he's thinking too much instead of just reacting and playing. So I think the couple things he's grown at, he's become a more confident player, He has improved defensively. There's still steps to go. He's improved. I think that he's become more of a leader, although I think he's starting to understand that he still has to be himself within a leadership role. I think a lot of people, when we told him how good a player he was, and we still think he's that good a player, that people think, well, that means he's got to take 30 shots a game. Like, that's not who he is. Again, it doesn't mean that he won't take 15, 20 shots in a game, but sometimes his best basketball is just when, like I told him the Cleveland State game. Well, Cleveland State, he took a bunch of shots, made, 6 threes or something. What was the game that I told you played so well you want to take? Fort Wayne, he played awesome. He took 5 shots. But they were, he had 2 cuts for layups. He hit open shots. He had a bunch of assists. He had a bunch of rebounds. He played great defense on Max, who you have to defend the three-point line against. So the thing about that he's taken the next step was, because when he came back from missing those games in the Virgin Islands, I think, and again, you'd have to ask Marcus, I think that he wanted to show like, hey, I'm still me. I still have my place in the team. You can win without me, but you really need me to win. There's all those kind of mental things to it. So where he's really improved even during the season is understanding that you can be our best player and take the third, fourth most shots. You just got to play the game within every game is a story unto itself. Some games we need him to score in the post. Some games we need him to facilitate. Some games we need him to step up and knock down threes. Some games we need him to flash in the high post and show his passing skills. Some games he's been our backup point guard, and he's really, really good at it. So I think that he took the step in terms of his body and his mentality throughout last season and into the offseason. And then I think the adjustment in season and understanding that just because you want to be an alpha and be a leader doesn't mean that we have to run every play for you. I'd say sometimes now he volleys in the other way where he wants, we're at Youngstown and it's close late and CJ was cooking and I'm trying to run something for him. He's like, no, run for CJ. He's cooking, So he has that in him to understand I don't always have to take every shot. Every play doesn't have to be for me, and I can still be kind of the leader of this team. And I think that's a noted improvement.
Marcus, what's the next step for this team? Obviously, like closing late, I would assume for you guys, but to reach where you want to go, what does this team have to do here?
I feel like it's just got to be defense. And obviously rebounding, we've improved, but some games we regressed. But I feel like defense has to be more of a constant for us. Even in games where, like the last couple games where we have a slow first half and struggle a little offensively, we scored, in the high 40s.
55 against Cleveland State and
Yeah.
47 against Wright State second half, right?
So we know we can score, and we have a bunch of guys who do a lot of good stuff on offense, but I feel like defense just has to be our constant for games like that where we aren't playing good on offense in the first half or are struggling to shoot, even getting good shots. We just have to keep ourselves in the game and not dig ourselves such a big hole early.
You've been linked at the hip with Preston when you guys came in here. What's it been like in your seat to see what he's doing in his final go-around in his college career?
Yeah, it's really special because he's just a guy that deserves it and deserves to have a role like that on a team where he's like, I feel like, I don't even know how to describe it. Early on, he was on kind of a tighter leash, which he was probably used to being a walk-on and stuff, but I've enjoyed seeing him have like a bigger role on a team and a bigger leash, and I feel like that's really shown how good he is as a player, especially this year, even last year too, and just being the leader that he is on the team.
Marcus, how much have you kind of, like you heard Doug talking, fitting into that role of that maybe you don't have to be the hero, where you don't have to be the guy that like is taking a ton of shots, that it's, do you feel like you've kind of found your kind of groove with this team where you fit and don't have to be the star?
Yeah, no, I feel like I fit that role a lot better than being a main guy on a team. I mean, in high school, obviously, most guys who play at the Division I level are the main guy on their team and score a lot, but I've never really felt fully comfortable in that, and I know I said a lot last year once Anthony went down, like I didn't feel like I was good enough to be the best player on a team, where I feel like I'm good enough for that now. I'm much more comfortable being, like, playing off of other people and not being the main creator on a team. So I do feel like now the last month or two, I've kind of, like you said, gotten into more of a flow of not trying to force anything on offense, and just my thing has just been really trying to focus more on defense and improving there, because I know that's where in bad games I hurt the team a lot, and in good games I can help the team a lot.
Doug.
So that was Marcus Hall and Doug Gottlieb on some things they need to clean up, especially on defense, which I mentioned before. Because again, defense wins championships. We know this Green Bay team can score, but can they defend? We shall see. 7 games to go in the conference slate, and they got Northern Kentucky tomorrow, so that'll be a big one. That's on the road. We'll take a quick break here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. When we come back, hear from Kayla Karius and Kemi Pepler. Welcome back to WFRV Plus Sports Night. Carson Fowler here talking GB women and men's basketball. 7 games to go for both of these teams who have had somewhat different trajectories this season. The Green Bay women are 18-5, winners of 13 in a row. And the men, well, they're 12-12. They had some winning ways to begin January, but now they've lost 4 of their last 5. Let's get to Kayla Karius and Kemi Pepler in just a minute. Here they are.
We play 2 really tough teams, of course. And when you're on the road, you just have to be that much sharper, that much more together, that much tougher, no matter who you're playing. I think the team that we face on Thursday, Robert Morris, is a really athletic team. They're much improved, and that was my first message to our team because we know what happened in the first round here at home. They are playing much, much better. They've found their groove offensively. There's a couple players who are shooting it better, but they are primarily a driving team, and they're trying to get to the free throw line, and they're making about 4 threes a game. So when you talk about playing the statistics, I mean, that's what they're trying to do. So that is our game plan. You know, there's a lot of teams that zone them, and we're not a zoning team. So we have to just adjust our defensive game plan and just make sure that we're taking away the thing that they like to do most. I think Youngstown is also a really talented team who's playing well at home. Both of them are playing really well at home. And they've got some really talented pieces. I mean, the Santoro player had just a really nice game when we played them here last. And we know that with Baker and Gregory, they have inside presences. And so they have the capability of shooting the ball really well. So they have a lot of threats to us. And so now we're trying to keep the focus on ourselves this late in the season. You know, if you put so much emphasis on what they're trying to do, you lose sight of what your identity is. So we started yesterday right away with, here's what we need to do to get better. Today, again, here's what they're going to do, but here's how we're going to take it away. And just try to keep as much focus on yourself as you can, because we have set a standard of how this particular team this year can compete and can win games. And so I think we owe it to ourselves to play up to the standard that we're capable of.
So protecting the paint this week, obviously, for your opponents is big, but is that something that you guys have felt like you need to work on throughout the season as well? So, like, you know, the in ourselves, we have to work on that?
Yeah.
as well?
You know, the concept of protect the paint and don't give up layups is really our number one defensive rule. I mean, if you're just continuing to let people get to the rim and take high percentage shots the whole game, I don't think your defense is very strong. I'm not saying we never do that. I'm just saying it's a main focus. So the way that we guard ball screens and the way that we rebound, the way that we crowd sometimes when people are spinning in the paint or things like that, you're just trying to take away the highest percentage shot. So that's been our motto since Cammie arrived here back in June. So all we're doing is just putting more emphasis on that.
Kayla, sorry for being late and sorry
No problem.
I've already been asked this, but with Cammie, how has she grown from the time that you got her here to now?
Well, like, I just think she was so willing to get better when she got here. I just saw such coachability in her, which I so appreciated. You know, we are in a different world with bringing in transfers, and when we brought in 4 players who we are only going to have for 1 year, you do wonder before they get here, like, are they the type who like think they know everything and they already have experienced what they have, and so there's only one way to go about it? Are they going to be resistant to what you're trying to teach? You don't know any of that truly until they get here and get in your program. I think we do our homework on those things, and we knew the type of person that Cammie was by doing our homework, and so I wasn't worried about that with her. But as you start to work together, you start to get the feeling of like, wow, she's like looking me in the eyes, like pouring into me, going, give me more, give me more. She just wants to get that much better, and she's just soaking up everything that we're telling her to do. And she's an incredible leader. I think that's the piece that right away you could tell she didn't know our system. She hardly knew me. You know, she barely knew her teammates, and yet she's getting them going. She's the first one to finish sprints. This is way back in June, right? Like, she's showing that level of leadership. She's the first one communicating. She's challenging them to be better, and she doesn't even know what she's challenging them for. That's the type of leader. She's such a natural leader. You could tell that from the start. And then the improvement piece of it is like, okay, now we've got to pull certain people along. Are you willing to go do that? Are you willing to go have tough conversations? Are you willing to call people out, even if they're your friends? Like that's hard stuff. That's the next level of leadership. And she's handled all of that really well. And I think that it's going to make her an incredible coach one day.
Cammie, being a leader on this team, what would you like to see from this team in order to get where you want to go down the stretch?
That's a good question.
That is a good one.
That's a good one.
I would just say just continue to get better every single day. Obviously not being complacent with where we're at. I think there's still a lot of things we can continue to grow at, and just taking every game as it is and being in the moment and learning from that, I think that'll help us get to where we want to be.
What do you think about that question, Coach?
What do I want to see us improve on?
Yeah.
There's always things. Yeah, I think just like I mentioned, like we have this standard that we're playing at, and I think that we've shown great flashes. Sometimes they're flashes, sometimes they're quarter-long stretches of really guarding at a high level and shooting the ball well. And I think you combine those two, you're going to start to put teams away. There's a little bit of what we've struggled with lately. We haven't been able to stretch a 20-point lead into anything more than that, and it's shrunk a little bit. We're still winning, but if I'm going to get really critical about it, we have to be able to put teams away. And we want to be able to do that because I think it's just that's playing to our standard for 40 minutes. That would feel really good by the end of it. And so I think that's probably our main thing right now that we're focused on. And of course, shooting the ball better is going to help. I think we're getting great looks. It's just a matter of we can knock a few more of those down. Now the lead looks a little bit different. You can play a little bit different lineups at the end. You can try some different things. And sometimes we just haven't been able to do that. So that's probably our main thing that we're focused on right now. And like I said, on the road, that's going to be even harder to do. I just think you have to be on point with everything this weekend.
How do you bring the energy when the Crest Center has it for you with the fans?
Yeah.
But when you go to some of the other arenas, it might not have that.
Well, we're facing a kids' day game on Thursday, so there's going to be screaming. I don't know who they're screaming for. They probably won't even know. But there will be energy. We're relying on our bench 100%. So we will have some fans with us, but of course, it's nothing like the Crest. So I love road trips because I love the bonding that it creates with your team. All we have is each other. And so we're bringing everybody along. We've got the players who are injured, not able to play, who are going to be heavily relied on to communicate, to get the energy going. And then, of course, everybody who gets in the game has a responsibility to bring energy and to communicate at a high level as well. So it's just something everybody's got to do it. You got to go on the road. It's nothing we haven't faced already somewhere earlier in the season along the way. And you just you feel like it's us against the world, and now you've got to bond together and get in the trenches together and find a way to get it done.
Why is this program always successful, and do you feel that pressure to kind of keep that ball rolling?
Why is it always successful? I think there is incredible support from a lot of levels. I think you can start with our fans and see them fill up the Crest Center on a weekly basis, no matter the weather, no matter the opponent, no matter if there's a Packer game, they're always here. And so I think it starts with the community that we have. The young girls who Cammie once was, who I once was, coming to camp and watching the older girls play, and that whole youth community, it just goes to show with our camps and how active the young girls are in our community. So fan support's one thing. You look at our athletic department, and we have an athletic director who is so bought into women's basketball and supports us and helps us get what we need and help us to improve and stay at the top for a lot of different factors. But I think Josh Moon is so bought into women's basketball is succeeding. We have to keep it succeeding. It's not like that everywhere. We have a chancellor on campus who, Mike Alexander, is so bought into women's basketball. He's in his same seat every single time. He's bringing people with him to games. He's the first to text me on the road after a game, win or lose. He's so supportive. So I think that's all where it starts. But of course, it's our coaching staff is trying to bring in the right players, and I think that we've been able to do that on a consistent basis. Of course, our recipe is to bring in local players, and that has been pretty successful to protect the state of Wisconsin and find the right players who want to come here and play close to home and play in front of this environment. Because of all that, the community feeds back into it, right? And it just keeps on rolling. So this was established well before either of us had gotten here. And now I feel like it's just my duty to carry it forward. I don't think of it as pressure. I mean, I'm living my dream every day. I'm fueled by the passion that I have for this place. That's what keeps me pushing to make it better and to stay on top and to constantly find ways to challenge these guys to make sure that our standard is upheld. Because I was a player here once, and we had those same standards. And as an alum of the program, I want to see that continue. So that's really what fuels me. And I just don't think of it as pressure. I think I'm really privileged to be sitting here right now. I have incredible coaches around me on my coaching staff, and an incredible mentor in Kevin Borseth, who's still around and helping out. And we owe it to all these people sitting in the stands to put a great product out on the floor.
That was Kayla Karius, the head coach of the Green Bay women's basketball team, and she put it no better way than you can. She wants this program to be great because she played for this program. She was a player back in the day. She got a lot of people around her that want her to have success, and she believes that her job is setting that standard and raising the bar every day. I'm right behind her because they're playing really good basketball, and can't really complain about that. But I think that's going to pretty much do it for WFRV Plus Sports Night tonight. We'll be back tomorrow and the rest of the week. I am off the next 2 days, so you will get either Kyle Malls on or Cameron Azier. But for now, we'll say goodbye and so long. Have a good night, folks.